Okay, today we're going to actually build our first script and we're going to make a sort button, one of these buttons. So we've looked at how to make the buttons, how to make menus up here. Now we're going to look at how to actually make the script. So as we talked about, if you two-finger click or right-click on those and click the dots, you can see assign script and the script that runs when you click those buttons. So I'm going to copy that, press OK here. Then I'm going to open the script editor. And then I'm going to Command F and paste that there to find the script that runs when you click that button. And there it is. So this is the script. So it's fairly straightforward. We'll walk through each line slowly, but behind this button is this script. So if I click this, you see it runs up here, it finishes. This one sorts by date. This one sorts by count. There it's sorted by count. Click that. Sorts by date. So here we go. So every function starts with this statement, a function statement. Function, name of function, open, close parentheses, and then these curly braces, which also close at the end. As you can see, when you're touching the opening or closing of a parentheses or braces or something, the one that closes it also highlights. So you see this one's green and this one's green. So that can help when you're doing loops and things like that, and they get long and you can't see where the beginning and end are. It also helps to indent the right amount. So as you can see here, the indents go all the way down the same distance. If I had sub parts in here, I would indent it more with either tab or command curly braces. Okay, so I got my function started. I open my curly braces here. First thing I do is log. This goes to either view logs or it goes to here. So depending on what you're doing, it will go to one of those two logs. But just know you should check both places if you're logging something. So we're logging this statement just as a quote. And you'll see these are comments with these two slashes first, meaning the code won't read that. Those are just comments for a human to read so they understand what's happening. So first we get the sheet that we want to sort. We're setting a variable. The variable name is active sheet. So this is a variable name I'm making up. I chose the name active sheet. I could choose the name hamburger and that would work fine too, whatever I want to name it. Obviously having names that make sense are better. So hamburger is not the best name, but active sheet is. And it's the active sheet because I'm clicking the button. And when I'm clicking the button, this sheet is the active sheet in Google Sheets when I'm doing it. So the active sheet is spreadsheet app. So this is basic programming. So this spreadsheet app, what it really is a bundle of code that is pre-written by Google that you can use to do certain things. So as an example, if I started typing that word and then I press the period, it will show me what functions I can run from this collection of code. So in this case, I want to get the active sheet. So I just do that, I type get active, and you can see I can get active range, I can get active list, I can do all sorts of stuff. In this case, I just want to get the active sheet. So after I do that, I have in this variable name, this active sheet. So it comes with all the data in it, all the other stuff you can do, all the formatting, everything that involves this sheet is now in this variable name. So you can see if I start doing something with that, I can do the same thing again, just type the period, and you can see all the things I can do with that sheet. I can delete rows, I can get active cells, I can get data ranges, all sorts of things I can do. And we're going to do some stuff with that soon. So then I want to get the number of the last row with data to be the last row of the range to sort. What that means is that if I press Command arrow down, I shoot to the last row of data. If I press Command arrow down again, I go to the end of the file, which means there's no more data in that column. So what I need to do, if I want to sort this range, I have to get the number row 23, so I know where to end the sort. So then it will grab from row 7 to row 23 when it's ready. And same thing you'll see in a second with column, I need to get to column H. So I need to know the range I want to sort goes from A7 to H23. So to do that, first I get the number of the last row with data. As we said, that's 23. Then I'll get the number of the last column with data. As we said, that's H, although in this case it will return a number, not a letter. So it will return 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, column 8. You can also get the column number with that function. See, it's an 8, just equals column. So this function right here, last row of data, will return the number 23. So if I log this, it should be a 23. This will return the number 8. And as you can see, I'm using my active sheet. So in this case, I'm saying active sheet dot, one thing I can do is get the last row and the last column. And so I do that in both these cases. First I get the last row, then I get the last column. Then, and this again, you can do some of these things with variables. In this case, I just know the first row of data is in row 7. Right, as we talked about, I want to sort the range starting in 7. I don't want to sort the header. I don't want to sort row 5. I want to start the sort right there. Right, this is the range I want to sort. You can see me selecting it. And give the column number to use as the sorting basis. So in this case, which column do I want to sort on? So if I were sorting this range, I went to data, sort range, no headers, I would tell it which column I want to sort on, and I would tell it ascending or descending order. And then I can press sort, and it would do that. Now it's sorted by ID. So I have to do the same thing in the code because it needs all those variables. It needs to know the range, and it needs to know the column to sort on. So it's already got a lot of the numbers for the range. Now it needs to know what column to sort on. In this case, we're sorting by date, which is column number 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we get the range, as you can see right here, the range. So this is a variable again that I'm just making up. And like I said, active sheet is everything in this sheet that the Google Sheets application comes with. So I can do active sheet dot, and you can see all the things I can do. One thing I can do is get a range. And you can see the hints right here. I chose this one because I wanted to get the range of the row to the column to the number of rows to the number of columns. So what I wanted is, what's the first row we talked about? 7. First column is 1. And then how many rows and how many columns? So in this case, it was start in row 7, column 1, and give me, if I click shift command arrow down, I want 17 rows and I want 8 columns. So that's how I give the range of what I'm trying to sort. So first row of data we talked about, it's giving me a 7, starting in column 1. And this is giving me the total that we just said. So I wanted 17. So this is saying, give me the last row of data, which is 23, minus the first row of data, which we said was 7. So that's going to be 16. But then I actually have to add 1 because I want to also include that row, right? So it's not supposed to be minus this. It would have to be minus this, if anything. But obviously this is just simple math. But the point is I need to get 17 as my number of rows. So it's last row of data minus first row of data plus that 1, so it also includes the first row of data. And then last column of data, as we talked about, which we already have, just 8. So now I'll have that range as a variable. And again, now that I have that range, I can do all sorts of stuff with it. So all of these times where I'm getting these pre-written code or these pre-written objects from Google Scripts and Google Sheets, I can then do the stuff with it that I want to do. In this case, I'm going to sort. So here's the sort function, range.sort, so I'm calling the sort function, and I have to pass into it, so whenever I call a function I have these open parentheses, but then for sort you have to pass in this hash, this JSON object. It's just data. So you see I started with curly braces and closed with curly braces, see those are green. I have to tell it the column, which is the sort number, and ascending true or false. So I can make this column that we're sorting based on, it can be 3, it can be 4, it can be anything. But what that is again, it's the column that is based on the sort. And then I say ascending true, I can also say ascending false if I want to go in reverse order. So that's it, it's super simple. And as you can see, so if I were doing this myself, let's say I was right here, shift command arrow down, and then arrow right, data, I could sort all these different ways, but I need to do the header because I have a header here. And I can sort in all these different ways, by price, by count, by whatever. I can add more columns if I want to. Then I click sort. So that's one way to do it. What does that take? 5, 10, 15 seconds, maybe 20, depending on how fast you are. Versus if there's a sort I do very frequently, may as well make it a button, because making the button, as you get good at it, will only take a minute or two, and you will save a ton of time when you are in the future, or your team is in the future, sorting things repeatedly. So it's a really neat way, and you'll see in the notes, you'll see here's the code in GitHub. And as I said, I already showed you how to make these buttons. So that's it. Really simple, really powerful, can save a lot of time. Pretty simple here. You'll see all the comments on how to do it. And if you have questions, reach out.